Application is a special type of class which is created the moment the application is created and exists for its entire life cycle. This means that it exists from the moment the first component is started until the last of them is destroyed. If an activity starts a service and subsequently disappears, we still have the same application because the component still exists. It's a good place to store objects whose life cycle should be long, especially the ones whose life cycle should last throughout the life cycle of the entire application. In our case, this will be the login manager, whose task is to store information about the logged-in user from the moment the application is started, when it checks in the shared preferences whether the user is already logged in, until the application is closed. Application is available even in case we don't write a single line of code. The default implementation is the Android app application class implementation, which is available anywhere in the code by calling the getApplication method in each component. Thanks to this, we can gain access to a singleton and use it. We can also create our own implementation by expanding the application class, placing our own objects there, and managing them. Thanks to this, we have access to a singleton which can store all kinds of managers, a cache, and so forth. In order to use our own application, we need to create a class which inherits from the application, place our own code there, and then add the relevant entry in the Android manifest file. Defining the name of the used class with the name parameter, just as we did in the case of activity. Now we can start by creating our own application, the settings in the manifest, as well as the login manager, whose task will be to store the login data. We start by creating a new class, which we'll name ToDoApplication. It will expand the Android app application. Just as most Android components, application is created automatically by the system, which is why we shouldn't rely on the constructor. A much better solution is to implement the onCreate method, which is called directly after creating the object, even before starting the first activity. The moment we start the activity from the launcher, first the application is launched, which means that the onCreate method will be called. Only after creating the application, the activity is created and the onCreate method will be called there. That's why we can safely use all the things created inside the application in the activity, in the onCreate method. Once we've already got our own application, it's good to use it as the main application for our entire application. To do so, we enter the Android manifest file. In the application section, we set the value of the name, providing the application class. A curious thing is the dot notation. Usually, we encounter full notations, that is, the class name together with the package. We can use the dot notation in the manifest. If we start the name from the dot, it means that before the dot, we need to put what is present in the package field. All kinds of classes present in the main package or any of its subpackages may be addressed this way. After setting our class name to application, we can create various components and objects. First, we create a simple implementation of the login manager as an internal class. To do so, we create a Login Manager class whose task is to store data. For that purpose, we'll use two fields: private string session token and private string user ID. These fields will be obtained and stored in shared preferences for the entire duration of the application. Now we can handle the situation where we try to log in. The code we've called so far to save data in shared preferences can be moved to the Login Manager via the Save Login method. We'll definitely need session token and user ID. Additionally, we'll need two constants which we can move from the login activity. Apart from the fact that we've saved data to shared preferences, it's good to update the fields we have. Handling the logout method, which we'll need sooner or later, is very simple. First, we nullify the previously set fields. We also clear the shared preferences fields. As we use shared preferences multiple times, we store it as a field inside the Login Manager class and initialize the value in the constructor. When creating the Login Manager constructor, we transform shared preferences into a field. Now we can edit shared preferences from the level of the logout method. Using the remove method, we can remove particular fields. Using the clear method, we can clear the entire shared preferences. When using clear, all data will be deleted. That is why it's better to use remove. In this method, we provide the keys to be deleted. We have to confirm the changes by calling the apply method.